Hi guys, I'm back with another video. I have my trusty book, so that means we're gonna talk about a podcast. Yep, we're gonna talk about a podcast, and thank you guys so much for watching my other video. It was really fun to make because I really love the Yale Admissions podcast, but now we're gonna talk about a podcast called Inside the Admissions Office. And this podcast, they interview many different admissions officers from many different schools, obviously many different schools, and I am going to be talking about Dartmouth today because that's the school I kind of want to go to, and they interviewed a Dartmouth admissions officer, so I'm going to talk about that right now. So, from what I've heard, Dartmouth is a very specific school, and what I mean by that is, I know that sounds a little weird, it's a school that kind of wants, I don't want to say wants a specific type of student, but they're looking for certain characteristics if you want to go to Dartmouth. So I think that's kind of the same for, I think Yale and Dartmouth are the most personality heavy schools, so showing your personality is very important, to make sure that you're right for Dartmouth, if that makes sense. Like I said, Yale wants an assortment of students, and I think Dartmouth wants an assortment of students, but I think they want, personality means a lot to them. So if you're just, don't show your personality, it's gonna be very hard for you to, get in, even though if your, stats are perfect, So what I wrote down is that Dartmouth has both early decision and regular decision, and what the admissions officer said is that Dartmouth, they accept more people early decision. I know for some schools the difference isn't that big, but majority of their acceptance comes from early decision. So I think it said 50% of the acceptances are early decision. So if you really want to go to Dartmouth, I suggest you do early decision, because I think they get a fresher view, because early decision applicants, they're the first applications that the admissions officer sees. So if you really want to go to Dartmouth, doing early decision might be the best thing to do, but I know that can't be affordable for most people. I personally don't like that, because when you're considering going to a school, you have to take into account everything, and that includes how much, if you're gonna be financially able to go to that school. And I feel Dartmouth accepting more people early decision just puts all the financially okay people ahead of the people who aren't financially okay, and I don't know, I don't like that. That's not for me personally. No hate to Dartmouth, because I still want to get in. So Dartmouth, if you're watching this, it's okay. You can do whatever you want, Another thing that I wrote down that they look for is that they look for an authentic voice, passion, and they want someone who has a vision. So I kind of talked about this at my Yale admission podcast one, because these schools, they want you to be you, real, and they want you to kind of have a passion, because I think Dartmouth is a school that really cares about social change or whatever. Sorry, Dartmouth, I don't hate you, that's just how I speak, but cares about social change. So I feel you need to show the change you've done in your community, show that you have a passion for something. Let's say you have a passion for the environment, talk about that in your personal essay or in one of the supplements. I know Dartmouth came out with their supplements already, so you can start writing that. I suggest write it right now, so you can spend time revising it and you get a good idea of what you want to write. But that's another video. That was my last video actually, but we're moving on. But make sure you are you present yourself as a real person who they're gonna like. And they like people who has passion, who has a voice, who, you know, what else did I write? They're authentic. So keep that in mind when you're writing your application. And as I was just saying, what I also read down is they want to know you. They want to know you as a person. So don't be fake. Like, come on, guys. Like, you could be fake anywhere else, just not in your college application, because this is like the one time people want you to be real, and that's a good thing. Like, you can finally be authentic. Like, I actually have fun writing these writing supplements and just talking about things I like, because I love talking about myself. So it's not even a problem for me. So just talk about you, like, talk about things that you care about, so it's easier for you, you know. Writing these supplements shouldn't be hard. You shouldn't be like, why am I ranting? You shouldn't like try to make like a fake version of your, like, I know you can't like tell like the admissions officer everything, because like that would be a little much, but like don't try to make like a fake version of yourself. Just be like the best version of yourself. There you go. And the other thing I wrote down is that 7 minutes. They want someone who wants Dartmouth, and I kind of like, I lost my page. I kind of like agree, because that's probably why they care about early decision so much, because if you do early decision, that proves that you care about Dartmouth. I don't hate you, Dartmouth, anyways. So I guess that's why they do early decision, and why they accept more people early decision, because they want you to show that you want to go to Dartmouth. But you could also show that through your essays. Like, if you do good research for your like why I don't even know, does Dartmouth have I think Dartmouth has a why us essay, but your why Dartmouth essay, do like good intense research. Make sure everything you want to do at Dartmouth is laid down there. Make sure it's not just like surface level things like, oh, I like the location. Like I said, don't mention the location in your essays, please. Talk research. Get into like the news. Like, I know many colleges have like a news section. Get into that section. Like, make sure you went through that website from top to bottom, you know? Like, you know what I mean. So, another thing that they kind of talked about like the wait list. So sometimes the wait list, so what they said is sometimes the wait list moves, sometimes it doesn't. Like, if you're on the wait list, sometimes it doesn't move at all. Like, no one gets off the wait list, and sometimes a lot of people do. So I think they mentioned that because like I said, Dartmouth kind of wants a specific type of person. Like, I don't want to say a specific type of personality, but a specific type of person who has a good personality, if that makes sense. It probably doesn't make sense, but that's why I think some years, I think they gave this example, I'm not sure. Some years, let's say, they want more trumpet players, you know? I think they gave this example. I'm not sure. Let's say one year they need so many trumpet players to come to Dartmouth, for example. So if you're on the wait list and you're a trumpet player and they don't have enough, then they'll take you off the wait list. But let's say one year they have enough trumpet players and that's why you're on the wait list. Like, you're good, but they have everything they need. So some years it's hard to tell which year the wait list will move, and like it's hard to keep track of that. I think that's what they were trying to say. Oh, and they also give preference to legacies. I don't want to talk much about that, but I could understand that, because the former admissions officer that was talking in the podcast, her daughter, I think both of her daughters, or one of her daughters, went to Dartmouth. She went to Dartmouth, and one of her daughters, like, ED to Dartmouth, and one of her daughters, like, did regular decision. Yeah, I remember her say that. So, both, I guess that kind of shows how much Dartmouth, like, prefers, like, legacies, because having two daughters get into that selective school, I need to work at Dartmouth so my kids could get a good education. But anyways, they care about legacy admissions, but you guys know, like, the state of admissions right now. Like, many schools are getting rid of Legacy. I doubt Dartmouth. Well, I don't want to say anything, but... So, what I wrote down, I didn't remember this, but apparently they have a slight preference towards, like, non-test optional people. But what I wrote down is, like, if you're like from a school that no one knows, like if you're from an international school or from like a random school that they don't know about, apparently they want you. There's a slight preference because I guess they can know more about your education, I guess, for tests. I don't know. I don't feel like tests can really define your whole, like, I feel like a grade report or whatever, a grade book or whatever can show your academic strength better than just like an ACT or SAT. But hey, I'm not on a college board or whatever, but yeah, apparently they have a slight preference towards non-test optional people who submit their test scores. But guys, it's 2023, like, many schools don't really care that much about test scores anymore unless you're getting like a scholarship or something. So if you want to go test optional, that's okay. Like, don't let just an Ivy keep you from doing what you think is best. Like, I can put this like chart up on that I found on Reddit that kind of like gives you an idea of who should submit their test scores without it hurting them, because I know if you're like in this like percentile, it's better to not send your test scores and it would hurt you than help you. So just putting that out there. So yeah, I think that's all I wrote. My U Chicago one I wrote a lot for, so that's probably gonna be next. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm trying to make this like a thing now where I post every Wednesdays and Sundays, but we'll see because school's about to start. But thank you so much for watching. I love you guys. Thank you for those who came from TikTok. Love you. Bye. And thank you for coming with me on this journey.